Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today? It's been a while since I've been with you. Hopefully, everybody is having a great springtime. Let me know if you can hear my voice and that my recording is coming through, or that you can hear my audio. Hey, Miles. How's it going? How's the sound this morning? I have to talk somewhat quiet because there are people sleeping still in my house. All right, Brett, thank you. I appreciate that. So quickly, the pound Aussie got into this early trade off of the 50 moving average, and it jumped up to target one, which is a nice 19 pip target, and then came back down, stopping out at break even. Unfortunately, it couldn't get much further at this point. Kind of getting the last burst of this leg up, which worked out pretty good this morning. And nothing yet on crude oil. Crude oil is just kind of flat and going sideways, so it's good that we're flat still. We'll be looking to see if we get a setup there soon. And the markets will be open in about a minute, so we'll be looking at the YM. I got another chart up here on the left. This is the NQ. We haven't looked at the NQ in quite some time, but what's different about this chart is it's using one of the Spotlight Master Suite diamond level setups, which is a moving average crossover. And when this really works, it works amazing, and you line up your exhaustion dots with your balance line, but you want to have your EMAs angling in the direction of your trade. And I find that's when you really see this working well. When it's kind of flat going across horizontally, use that as a filter to stay away from it. But you'll see, we'll keep an eye on this. I'm just kind of looking for something new to occupy some space here on this workspace. As far as unleaded gas, I mean, looks like it jumped into a trade right here at 9 and then went right on up to full target. You got the stop and reverse adjustment that we use would have kept you out of this trade. Yeah, didn't get to 04, would have needed to at least have gotten to 04, got to 7. So the long trade here on unleaded gas, getting the work done all the way. So that one's also finished. So pretty quick start for the pound Aussie and unleaded gas. Soybeans now getting short right at the open. If anyone's trading that, 1588 and a quarter with counterpunch trying to get to its first target, 1585 and a quarter. If it can get through support here at the 50 moving average, it's got to get through that, obviously. But so far, it looks like it might. There it goes. And look at that. Almost at its full target for at least its minimum gain of 3 points. Didn't quite get there. Let's see what happens. Let me mark that. There's a long on the YM. Heads up, everyone. Long on the YM at 34,841. And that one is targeting 877 at target 1, and the stop is at 94. Trying to grab that one myself, but it might have gotten away from me here. Let's see if it can come back. Look at the NQ. Okay, so soybeans came down, blasted through targets 1 and 2. That's going to be one and done. That was quick. Soybeans continues to be a hot market these days. Check out this trade I was just talking about. You could see that the line's starting to curl down, but This is quite the setup. I've been watching it for a while now, and it's really been impressive. And that's a 4-point momentum bar. So you could see some pretty sizable targets in there, just stopping out. This is a setup that we have not explored nearly enough, which I think we will start paying more attention to. We'll probably try that on the Russell as well. And of course, back to crude oil, nothing there yet. Just got triggered into the YM. Although with the NQ diving down, that may have an adverse effect on our YM. Let's see. Money management on the YM is at 873. See if we can get there. And if anyone has any questions, let me know. Hey, Ari. I don't understand the dots because it seems like it comes across as the viewer should already know how they work. Yeah, so the 3 dots don't print until the 3 bars actually are until the condition occurs. And basically, you have X amount of bars closing up, and then you have to get 3 bars that close lower. And they don't have to close consecutively lower to each other. They just have to close lower to that last bar that closed up, which I always refer to as the 0 bar, for example. So when you start seeing a bar close below, like you have some sort of rally in either direction, and you see a bar closing either below, or of course, if it's short, it'd be closing above, then you can maybe look for a second close. It's also below where these arrows are. Maybe a third close that's below where those arrows are. And if the conditions are met with enough bars going up, I think it's 3 at the minimum. I forget what the programming is. It's so long since I've thought about it. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's what gives you the exhaustion dots. So it's based on pure price action. So basically, when you start seeing closes that are below the longs, the rally of some sort, or above a short rally to the downside, you can start expecting exhaustion dots. That's typically how it works. It's no great mystery. It's just that you go cross-eyed and will end up in the funny farm if you try to stare at your chart and find that condition, all day long. That's why the dots are so useful. But if you could start anticipating if you know what to look for. So hopefully that clarifies that for you. Like you could see these dots right here above on the YM. You had a few bars going up. And then this bar here is the last bar that closed up, right? So now you have a bar that closes below, another bar that closed below, not the prior bar, but where the arrows are. It doesn't matter if they close consecutive to each other. Like this one closes above the one prior, but it's still below what I'm calling the 0 bar, right? So if that's the 0 bar, the last one that closes up, then you got your 1, 2, 3 closes below. And that's what gives you your dots. And the opposite is true here. So you got your 0 bar, in this case, is this one. And then you got your bar closing up, another bar closing up. This one closes down, but it's still above what we're calling the 0 bar. So it's 3 closes above the close of the 0 bar, you see? And that gives you these 3 dots. Does that help? I know there's a little bit of a delay probably from my talking to you and your and your communicating back with me. But if you understand that, let me know. And good morning to you, Vicky. Nice to see you this morning. The YM trying to push up to its money management, 873. So Ari, when you say you purchase the indicator, I'm guessing you're talking about counterpunch. So the counterpunch chart that we're showing right now is soybeans. If you have any questions about any other chart or market, let me know, and I'd be very happy to pull it up and we could discuss. We're looking at the Spotlight Master Suite with many of these other charts. It's a newer strategy. It borrows some of the rules of counterpunch and then does things a bit differently as well. So you still have your exhaustion dots, you still have your balance line, although it's called the signal line and counterpunch. And you got the setups that use the same formula for calculating the trades and targets and stuff, but what it looks for is different things. So you kind of get the foundation of it with counterpunch, but spotlight is a different strategy. So I kind of, go back and forth. It's hard to show everything. Eventually, we'll be bringing some catapult trades into the trade room, especially with the new catapult that I'm working on. Maybe some of you haven't heard yet. There's money management on the YM, heads up, almost at target. There it is, hitting its target objective. Target 1 on a 14-point momentum bar. You could use the same style chart with counterpunch. Some of the trades will look the same. But that was good for 36 points, $180 per contract. Now, if you're going for target 2, that's certainly an option as well. That's the next stop along the way. Ari, I only trade Forex. Do you have any recommendations for timeframes or tick charts? I have NT8. Well, I mean, we're using the pound Aussie, which is an 8 pip momentum bar. So for you, it would be an 8 range bar. And I think that's a good one. And it would work, I think, pretty well with counterpunch as well, I believe. I haven't looked at it in a while, but we could open up a chart and see. Other charts could work well too. It depends. I mean, I would use tick charts or range bars, but you could also look at a 5-minute chart. I know that with counterpunch, a 5-minute chart has worked very well in the past on the Euro US, the pound US. You could try it on a pound Aussie, a Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie possibly. Maybe an Aussie yen, Euro yen. I mean, those are all good choices, but I always recommend going through the 3-step sniff test, and you kind of have to flesh it out and figure out what's going to be best on a day trade, because Forex is so weird. It could really slow way down. So, I mean, I would just be looking to quit positive as efficiently as you can and then moving on. Come up with, usually when we're talking about fast testing, you want to look at a bunch of charts and then let the best ones present themselves to you. And those are the ones you focus on. So that's probably what I would begin with, those pairs that I told you. And then as far as the momentum bars, I'd probably stick with a 8-pip momentum bar on the pound Aussie and the Euro Aussie, and I'd go with a 6-pip range bar, on a Euro yen, and a 5-pip on the Aussie yen, Euro US, and the pound US would either be a 5 or a 6. I'm not exactly sure. I don't remember. So those are probably some good charts, and we could open a few and take a peek. I could show you what I mean by the 3-step sniff test as well, because that's really where you're going to get your answers. I have a lot of videos to watch on your new program. I haven't done those videos yet, though. Not sure which ones you're referring to, Vicky. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm talking so quiet, by the way. Just don't want to wake people up this morning. Hopefully you guys hear me okay. I got the mic pretty close to my mouth right now. So, it's been quite the amazing session for the most part. Everything has hit its goals that we've been looking at, except for the crude oil has not even produced a trade yet. So oddly enough, one of our most active trade plans has yet to produce a trade, but the YM hitting a perfect target 2. Soybeans, a perfect target 2 right here on the short. That one worked out great. This is counterpunch, by the way. All right, I'm good. Thanks for letting me know. Hey, why don't you guys type in where you are all tuning in from? It's always fun to know what part of the world everyone is at. I'm in the beautiful Pasos Robles wine country area of California these days, at least for another several weeks. New York City, welcome New York City. Hopefully New York City is coming back to life now that the vaccine is starting to do its thing. Vicky is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Ari, where are you tuning in from? Colorado. Okay, so we're kind of like jumping all over the map here. And Key West, Florida. Right on. Virginia. What is the line of white dots or yellow dots? White dots or yellow dots? I guess it depends on which strategy. So are you talking these white dots here is the trailing stop, if that's what you're referring to? The white trade. I believe you have Counterpunch Trader, Ari. I'm not sure when you say you got my indicators, you're going to have to be a little more specific. Hoosier Heartland. All right, Oklahoma. Oklahoma? Hoosiers, right? Saskatchewan? I think the Hoosiers are Oklahoma, no? Hello, Houston. Indiana. Gotcha. All right. Sorry about that. I was hoping it was Oklahoma because I've actually been to Oklahoma. All right, CPX2. So how about if I open up a chart? Let's do this. I'm going to copy this pound Aussie chart. Let's look at a few Forex charts here. Let's put on, let's see what I have on this first. Oh, I got a bunch of old stuff. I got to change this chart actually. All right, let's go ahead and pop on Counterpunch Express 2. So I'm just going to go insert. So it's going to look, it's going to be similar to Ninja, different data server, but it all works the same. So in the TradeStation way, I will go ahead and put on CPX2. And then we have to set it up for Forex. So that means we have to add a 0, right? So make sure when you're setting up Forex that you don't accidentally get a 2-tick offset on the entry. You want 2 pips, right? So 20 ticks is 2 pips. So anywhere in the description of the calculator, you need to put in a 0 to go from ticks to pips. So ignore small setups where target 3 is less than 10 pips or 100 ticks. And the break even has to hit target 1, but also at least have gone 120 ticks, 12 pips. And the reason why I put 12 because I'm just guessing at a 2-pip spread. So that would be like a 10-pip target plus a 2-pip spread is how I pretty much set that up. And the minimum ticks, let's see, break-even ticks. Oh, no, break-even ticks would be 10. I'm sorry. Break-even ticks is when you hit the break-even level, move the stop to lock in 1 pip. You could set it at 0 if you want to move your stop exactly at your break-even. So that's I usually put it at 1 pip. This is the one I set to 120 where you have to get to target 1 and a minimum of 12 pips. Now you can make it 11, or 10. It just depends on what pair, I guess. You just want to account for spread a little bit in there. Begin trail multiplier at the 1x. That's what that means. I think that's a good place to do it. You want to trail by 2 pips. Maybe you trail by 1 pip or more. That's up to you. I usually do 2. And the minimum ticks for trail, I kind of set that the same as my minimum ticks for break even, so 12 pips. And then this is only going to give us the green trades to start. If you want the white trades, you set that to true, or the purple trades, you set that to true. And if you want to see additional add-on trades, you could set that to true. So I would do those one by one as you go, focus on learning the green trade first. And you might decide that's all you like and need, and that's fine. But you could always add the others when you learn how they work, what they do, what they're good at. Okay? Step by step. But that's basically it. It's a real simple calculator. It doesn't have nearly as many things or options to choose from as the full counterpunch trader, which gives you a lot more. We could look at that too if you'd like, but let's go ahead and just set this up. And I'm going to turn off, of course, my spotlight. So let's just disable spotlight. All right, so now you have counterpunch. Oops, let me just change the colors too. Let's change the colors. The up bar should be green. There we go. Okay, that looks normal. All right, so you could see that the trade that Spotlight identified is the identical trade that Counterpunch would have identified as well. You would have had the exact same trade. Coincidentally, it's not always like that. You see? And you would have been basically one and done, your first target. You would have made your 19 pips minus spread, call it 17 pips, and you'd be done today with a one and done trade. So that's because the green trades look at the exhaustion dots in relationship to one set prior. So it needs one set prior that's either at or lower than this set. Okay, and that's what you get. So it's basically a trending kind of trade setup, the green trade, which is why it works so well. So you could just focus on that. If you wanted to turn on the white trade, you might get, for example, a counterpunch. Let's see. Let's get the right indicators on here first of all. So we need to get the high trend chop indicator as well. Let's put that on there. Insert HT chop. There you go. So you should have a white trade in here somewhere. I think it's going to be this one, right? Let's check it out. It may have not come down to the entry. The white trade you have to learn. That's your counterpunch trade. So if you put that one on, you'll see you'll get another setup probably a little earlier. Yeah, right there. So it sets up in this bar and closes above, and then you grab it on as it pulls back down in this case. You can see the entries inside the bar. And that would have given you this trade. But that's an hour before our start time, you see? Usually we're starting at 8:30. This is at 7:30. So Forex, super slow. And this is a pretty active chart, but it hasn't done much today. So now what we can do is we can copy this chart. We could paste it again. And we could change the symbol. Let's try a Euro US. Haven't looked at that in a while. So with the Euro US, you might want to do a 5 pip range. So for you, it's just going to be a 5 range. For me, it's a 5 momentum bar. Same thing, same type of chart. And just look at 8:30 again. Just keep things the same. You could always look at different start times, but I would do that later. So, I mean, you can see there's just not a lot to be excited about. There's this setup here, which that's definitely a trade. And it's only going to be like less than 10 pips. You'd have to go all the way to target 3. So I'm not impressed with this chart. This chart, just looking at one day. I mean, I would look at 20 days. I would look at 20 days at each chart and ask yourself the question, are there enough trades for your session? Are the trades an appropriate size? And then the third question of the 3-step sniff test is, can you quit with a positive result a majority of the time with minimal and efficient trading? So you want to hit your goals quick, like in the first 1 to 3 trades maybe. And so far, these trades are just not very impressive. I mean, this one, I guess, is a decent size, but it never comes back to the entry. So it's not, you just have to look. This could still work. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in so long, but let's look at a pound US. GBP USD. Forex is tricky. You have to be discriminatory. So this chart looks a lot better, at least today. So if you're going for an 8:30 start time, you've got this setups at 8:22. There's 8:23. Yeah, I mean, you have a nice trade here, but it's little too early. But then you get the short. That would be your first trade, and it's still going. And that's not bad. I mean, you got 12 pip, 19 pip, 26 pip, and still trailing. So maybe the pound US, is that a 5 pip or 6? Yeah, it's a 5 pip momentum bar. You could try that. You could also try a 6 tick. Well, you don't have to hate Forex. It's just you have to work with what it is. So here's your 6 pip. The 6 pip's a little bit larger, and this one looks like, at least today, I mean, this one would have been one and done. So looking at some random chart on a random day and seeing the first trade winning and hitting a perfect target practically, both on the 5 pip and 6 pip, I would investigate this chart further using the 3-step sniff test, basically. So I would, the pound Aussie, the pound US. Look at one more. Let's look at, I don't know. Let's look at the Euro Aussie. 6 pips, probably too fast. Well, let's take a look and see. Probably an 8 pip or a 7 pip. Yeah, this one's pretty active. Well, maybe not. Yeah, it's pretty dead today. But you do have one trade. So you have one trade. That's too early, but right here you can get in sync. So even though this set up at 8:01, at 8:30, it's pushing up. It's already 9. You can get it here, and it's already come up and is getting to its target 2, which is good for 21 pips. This has already made you like close to 14. So, I mean, I'm basically taking the default that I just set up, as you saw me do, and putting it on random charts. And we're looking at trades that are, like, for the most part, working great. I don't have the purple trades turned on. I only have the green and the white. But you can see, hopefully, right away that it's producing trades, and it's producing trades that are pretty darn good. So, I mean, that's where I would begin, probably, if I were you, Ari. I would definitely focus on fast testing and building something you could believe in. In the end, if you don't believe in it, I don't care. It doesn't matter what I tell you. You'll never succeed with it. You have to believe in it. So I would focus on learning the strategy, do your pre-production work properly, and then practice. And I would get FX Synergy so that you can place trades with bracket orders. You're using NinjaTrader. I don't know. Maybe you don't need it. If you could use Ninja straight to your broker, then do that. You don't need FX Synergy. FX Synergy is if you're using MT4 to place trades. So you got some options. You got some good choices. You could also use Counterpunch for swing trading. So that's what I use with our swing trading service. We got some trades that are really good. First of all, you have this pound yen 4-hour chart trade plan that you have your own CPX2 version. It's really good that you can set up. Just read the rules carefully. And then the daily charts, I mean, you saw me present them. You could trade this with Counterpunch really easily. And then you only spend a few minutes at the end of each day placing trades. So that's another thing you could do. Yeah, so if you're not day trading, I guess I was assuming you were day trading since we're in a day trading room, but I shouldn't have assumed that, because swing trading is a great way to go, and you could certainly do that. So I use different settings. Let me just show you the settings that I have. So if you want to set your charts up, I'd pretty much do the same way on all of them, but it's not a big difference. But I'm using a 20 pip entry, right, because it's a big day trade. So put in 200 on your entry, and on your stop, I'm using 10 pips for the stop. I mean, I don't think I'm doing anything different. Everything else is basically the same. Just that. This is the full Counterpunch Trader, so it's got a lot more going on in here. Has the decimal rounding and stuff. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. You can do all that in your head. But it's the 20 pip entry and the 10 pip stop is what I'm using. Is it the best? I find it to be a good universal setting for a day chart, for a day end of day chart like this. Okay, that's basically what I do. Works pretty well. Oh, you want to learn day as well? Yeah, well, you can, but if you're going to day trade, then you want to do it right. And so you want to go through your pre-production, learn how to do the 3-step sniff test. I mean, that's the best thing anybody can do if they're trying to come up with something that They want to work. Now, the other thing with the swing trading that I do that's different is I do manual adjustments. Like the trade that we're in here, you can see there's this short, this long, some shorts, some longs. None of that matters to me. I didn't pay attention to any of that because I was in this long trade right here and still am. Just hit target finally 2 months later. We just went sideways, up, down, up, down, up, down, avoided all this whipsaw. Didn't get short here, didn't get long, so I was already long. Didn't get short on any of these, didn't get long here, already long, and stayed in this original trade because I'm looking at the chart and trying to work around support and resistance levels. So it's hard to teach that. That's one of those things that you learn from time and experience, but you could look at the chart and pay attention. So I knew when this short trade set up here that I had a 50 moving average that I wanted to at least see if it could push through that. And then I also had a major key level. So the adjustment was just enough to keep us long. So little things like that I think are super important. And you just, you're never going to be perfect with trading. You just got to do your best and learn as you go over time. So I try to teach that as best I can. It's not as easy to teach as it is to do, and I'm not always right. So while I've been showing these Forex charts, there's been a crude oil trade. And this trade is just a minute or two before the 10 a.m. mini session. So this counts as the 9 a.m. mini session. It's long from 64.92. And that one's targeting, remember, on the 8 tick momentum bar, we go to target 1, 65.15. That'd be good for 23 cents, $230 a contract. You can go to target 2 for your better risk-reward ratio. And the stop is at 6463. So let's see what that can do. Crude oil has not been too good. Spotlight missed this short. I'm sure Counterpunch caught that, but Counterpunch probably gave you some up and down too. So I'm not sure how that worked out, but there was no overbought condition to give us a short. So remember, Spotlight's not trying to catch every move. It's waiting for certain things to occur. Where's my 50 moving average? Yeah. You could just see this is garbage price action. You don't want to be involved with this. And notice that the breakout to the top side, or the attempt to get higher, failed. There was no follow through, and that led to the strong move down. So that's a concept you could always use. You can't program something like that, but you can certainly look for that condition and then use your exhaustion dots and your manual tools to generate a trade like so. And you can see how perfect that target's up here. Down to 67, and it got as low as 64. It looks like this trade's going to have a hard time getting long. Probably going to head lower unless it could find support here before it stops out. That might be the problem child session this morning. Yep, it just stopped out. So finally a losing trade. We haven't really seen any yet this morning. All right, I'm going to close these charts down here. Do you do the training video show the settings for Forex both day and swing? Sorry about the questions. You said you spoke only 40 minutes in a 1-hour presentation. Ari, yeah. If you go to the member site and look under trade plans, you'll see the Forex trade plans, and you should see what you need. So check that out. And if you don't, follow up with me. You could always come back in here, or you can follow up, send me an email. But you'll find it. I believe it's there. I'm nearly certain. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. It's been a while since I created it, but nothing's changed. Sorry, I'm just stretching. Yeah, that was a fast presentation for sure. So check out the crossover setup. Let's take a look at it. This chart is so darn active. It's probably way too active. NASDAQ's been on fire, but you could just see a ton of trades happening just since we started. But if you're using this, you got your angling, and then the market's open at 8:30. If I had add-on trades, maybe I'd get more setups. Let's turn those on too, because those could be really interesting with this kind of setup, especially when you have spread between the lines. So there's certain things you look for when you're using this idea. But for example, where are they? The add-ons are right there. Yeah. So if you're starting right at 8:30, probably can't. Well, no, that's really fast. That's like within 5 seconds. There's no way to get that. Let me make the entry larger so we could see it. Okay. This one here, though, at 1 minute after the open, and maybe with NASDAQ, it's good to wait a minute or two. I don't know. But this one, it's pretty fast also. You got like 12 seconds. You could probably place that trade. It's got the great angling. That's what you want to see. And look at target 4. I think it just missed it by a tick. Maybe it hit it perfectly. 13,590 and a quarter. Yeah, 13,590.5. So it missed target 4 by 1 tick. And then you got, again, it's angling. It's curling. And that's what you want to see. And the fast white line is definitely angling. And that one maybe too fast also. So a very active chart. Maybe too fast. That one's definitely too fast. You can't execute that in 3 seconds. But a perfect target. This one's going to be too fast. So you just have to be patient and grab the ones you can. This market's just going crazy. So it's producing nice trades, but it's just going too fast. Yeah, these are all too fast. So there's a loser. Is that enough of an angle? I don't know. It looks like, yeah, I mean, you take it. This, some trades lose. That one's going to lose. This one's got a nice angle to it. Kind of gives you a chance to get back. Yeah, you could have grabbed that trade. Definitely got to target 1. Just missed target 2. It stops out. Anyway. Maybe the NQ is too hard with this kind of setup, but you can grab. The thing is, you can grab some home run trades, but it's really, there's not a lot of losers. If you really look carefully, you see a lot of setups that cancel and don't trigger in. There's a couple losers in here. Most of these trades are winners, even though it looks really noisy. That's because I have add-ons. Maybe I'll turn those off now. It'll be easier to see stuff. The add-ons are probably good right at the open, so you can grab a trade at the open. When you turn off the add-ons, see it's a lot cleaner. Now you can see there's very few losing trades. This one loses unless you have a stop and reverse adjustment. I'm not sure how big of one you would need. It's something you'd have to think about. 75, that goes to 2. Yeah, I'd probably do at least a 1.4 ticks adjustment. This only went 3 ticks. So just by looking at this first setup, you would have stayed long, and that would have done pretty well. This one does okay. They're all getting a target. There's very few losing trades if you look at it. There's also very few trades that you could trade. I mean, some of them are just way too fast. Like this one here looks like a loser, but if you were to look at the timestamp, it probably stabbed down and went up before you could even place it. So while it looks like a loser, it's probably a non-trade. So that happens quite a bit. But anyway, yeah, this trade's really manic. What if, I wonder what the Russell looks like. This is a setup that really needs attention. I have to give it more attention, but I've just got so much on my plate right now. Do I, wait a minute. It's not going to work. RTY M21. Make this 1.5. Let's see what that looks like. 1.5 point. Yeah, I definitely don't want that. Strategy is worthless in something like this. Let's take a look. So market opens at 8:30. Wonder why I didn't grab this one. There's probably a filter that's working. That's two, right? Yeah, there's probably a filter. What would have been here? Oh, I know what it is. It's too many bars past the 3 dots. So that's the other thing, is you can qualify these trades. One of the cool things about lining up a moving average crossover setup like this with our exhaustion dots and balance line is that you can qualify how many bars from our third exhaustion dot will you look for your setup bar. So you need a bar that closes below the balance line, but in this case, you also need the fast moving average closing below the slow moving average. So that changes the setup entirely, unless you were to change the input that says maximum bars for setup. So this lets you look up to 4 bars to the right of the third dot, because the third dot counts as 1. That's why it says 5 instead of 4. But if you were to make it 1 or 2, you would be more restrictive and you would have fewer trades and probably higher quality trades. So like, for example, this setup bar here is only 1 bar past the third dot, whereas this one is 1, 2, 3 bars past the third dot. You see? So you can clean up the chart a lot. This one is on the third dot, and that's the best trade. Look how perfect target 3 is on that. So you learn how to use the tools to create a better looking chart, and one that's maybe more tradable. Maybe this works better on the NQ as well. But what if we set that to a 2 instead of a 5, for example? You have fewer trades. And the only one that doesn't work is the 4th short in a row. The first 3 all work. That one works. The long trade works. Look at that. Because remember, you want to do a stop and reverse adjustment of some sort. Not sure what would be the right number. But it looks to me like the long trade ends up working. And if it doesn't work, if you get wiggled in short, so be it. You get long again here. Looks like I got some activity in our Trade Hacking Club Discord. Um, hey JDS, are you Malv 9871? Because I see now you have messages that are showing up in YouTube. Sorry guys, I'm just responding to someone's question. This might be an interesting chart for us to look at with the Russell too. I might keep that. I want to find a nice thing with the Russell. Okay. Oh, I see. Oh, Malv, I see. You're just telling me about JDS. If you're logged in, were you able to subscribe, JDS? Were you able to subscribe to the Backpack Trader? I'm just curious. Yeah, thank you, Malv. All right. So anyway, just to follow up on our crude oil, the first trade unfortunately did lose. So now we're in the 10 a.m. mini session, and that trade is long from here. 64.56. Target one is at 64.74. And the stop is at 64.32. So you were able to subscribe, but you're not able to chat. I find that very odd. I wonder why that is. I wonder if anyone else is having that problem. I guess, the first thing I would do if I was having that problem is I would actually open up Google and type in can't chat in YouTube, or what if I can't, look for the solution on Google. You might have to ask the question a couple different ways, and probably an answer will come up for you. I mean, I think that's what I would probably do next to figure it out, because I've never heard of that. So a possible stop and reverse on crude oil. Crude oil would need to get short at 44. And if it does, it's targeting 23. Well, 32, I guess. 32 and 23. Crude oil has not been a friendly market for us. All the other markets have been quite good. Yeah, JDS, give that a try. See if you can figure it out. Maybe, you know what, another thing you can try? Log in with an incognito browser. Like, I don't know what browser you're using. Are you using Chrome, for example, or something else? So you could try a different browser, and you can try an incognito browser. Log in. So if you're using Chrome, you can go Shift Control N. Shift Control N, you get an incognito window, an incognito browser. Then go to YouTube and log in and see if that helps. Another thing you can do is try clearing your cache. Clear the cache of your browser. So all those things, I think you're going to have to try. There's something's preventing you from typing in comments. Tom says, for some reason you have to create a YouTube channel to chat. Create a channel or log in? Okay, Malv, if you want to trade MT4 with crude oil in Europe, I don't know where you're located, but in Europe, there are a lot of MT4 brokers that offer you crosses, right? They offer you like the US dollar versus crude oil, or the euro versus crude oil, or versus other commodities. So if you were to do that, you would need to use a time-based chart. So you would have to put Counterpunch Trader on an MT4 chart, figure out a 5-minute chart. That's probably the time frame you'd want to use. I think 1 minute would be not good. So you're very limited. So with a 5-minute chart, you'd have to choose that time of day where you have the most activity, because you're going to get, what's going to happen is you're going to get bars that are really big and bars that are really small. And that's going to give you some strange looking setups. So you can learn to work with that. I mean, it's kind of like what we do with some Forex pairs. It would be Forex, but instead of it being the, two currencies, it would be a currency versus the commodity. So you have to find a broker that does that. And there are tons of them in Europe. You could chart it on MT4, and then you're going to want to go through the same process of your 3-step sniff test and try to come up with the right trade plan. So how do you deal with a time-based chart when a lot can happen in 5 minutes? You see, you have to just learn how to work with a chart like that. And if you can do all that, the setups are going to, for the most part, be really good. You just have to get rid of the garbage setups and be careful of the really large ones. Have some sort of a strategy or plan to deal with that sort of thing. As soon as I click to chat, it says create a channel to chat. I've never heard of that. Is that new on YouTube? So Malv, are you in Europe? Login did not work. I wonder if this is some new thing on YouTube. Login did not work. When I tried to chat, it took me to create a channel, so I did. Then navigate back here, and it worked. That's got to be something brand new. I've never heard of that before. This has to be like YouTube imposing its muscle and might. And yeah, that kind of sucks if that's the case. Hold on, let me see something. Live chat on YouTube not working. How do I enable live chat on YouTube? All right, hold on. So I just pulled this up. Click on the live stream. Wait a minute. How to enable live chat on YouTube? Live stream. Well, I'm the one streaming. What if I just want to YouTube chat? YouTube chat support. YouTube support live chat. How do I enable live chat on YouTube? How do you contact YouTube questions? I mean, maybe do this. Maybe send something to YouTube. Sign into your YouTube channel. Oh, okay, you have to have a channel. Does YouTube support live chat? Live chat is turned on by default and shows up to the right of your live stream. After your stream. Yeah. I don't know. This is going to take time to figure out because it's not really telling me what I want. If I'm a spectator of a channel, I should be able to chat without having my own channel. That seems strange to me. Okay, so there's a lot of people in here chatting right now. I see Ed, Virgil, Kevin, the other one to know, Brett, Vicky. I mean, do you all have your own YouTube channels? Because you're chatting. Do you have YouTube channels? Yeah, I don't know. Malv has one. Yeah, I don't know. Brett doesn't have one, and he's chatting. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Tom Tiller, do you have a channel, right? You said you created one. Yeah. I mean, creating channels no big deal. Doesn't mean you have to use it if that's what it takes. But it's weird Brett doesn't have one. How about you, Miles? You still around? Do you have one? Anyway, guys, I'm pretty much done. Ready to say goodbye to you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the session. Crude oil, the only thing that really didn't make it happen for us, but everything else looking good. Okay, so let's look at that. The stop and reverse. So the stop and reverse would still be valid unless it didn't get to the number, right? So it's still long. A new long trade would have triggered in like this. That's going to cancel the short, right? Because you'd be long again. If there's no new long trade, if it comes up and hit the stop, it would also invalidate the stop and reverse. So at this point, it's no longer valid. And it still missed money management. So you're still long. And hopefully it could push through that 50 moving average. JDS, you're welcome. I'm sorry it's so problematic. I'd never heard of this until today. Yeah, that's a weird looking trade. One of the things with Spotlight is that you have to look past the colors sometimes. Yeah, Miles, no, I was asking you if you had your own YouTube channel in order to be able to chat here on YouTube. So I'm going to be here for the Wednesday crude oil session. I am not sure if I will be here for the early session. I'm leaving it scheduled for now, but I may not. I may end up canceling it, but I will be here for the crude oil report. So Miles doesn't have a YouTube channel either. So what's strange is some people can chat without a YouTube channel and other people can't. So I just find that really odd. There's another stop and reverse, Brett. This is just garbage price action. So heads up on that. That's going to be 39. 39. And you might look to your left and you see 30. Yeah, you don't want to go all the way down to 36. That's too big of an adjustment. And then you got another one after that. You'd have to just live with 39 and hope for the best. So this has not been the best session for crude oil unless it could stay long. If it could stay long and work its way up. This is looking like some sort of extended bearish pattern. Normally this is going to resolve to the downside, except that you do have, it's come down quite a bit already. You have your strong leg, a weaker leg, and it looks like you're going to get another move lower here unless 40 holds. Maybe it holds. That's why we do those key level adjustments. So hopefully it keeps you long here. Yes, thank you too, Brett. All right, well, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll update. Well, on Wednesday morning, you'll see if the icon on YouTube shows that we have if it's scheduled or not. But I'll be here for sure for the crude oil report. So have a great day, everyone. I'll see you then.